All right, here's another one. We'll tackle this kind of stuff when we're dealing with things like linear functions and doing graphing, x and y coordinates. Now in this case, this equation, we want to solve it for x. In other words, I want to get down to the bottom and have x equals and then the rest of it. But it's not set up like that. For some reason, x is going to be a key number for us, but this equation is not set up the way we want. So we think roadmap. Now x is the variable we're solving for, so that's the one I list up top. Y, we're just going to treat it like another number. Now according to order of operations, it looks like what they did here was they took x and multiplied it by 5, and then they subtracted another number. Now in this case, this number is represented by y, but that doesn't matter. We just list it. They subtracted the number y. So I pull my U-turn and I do the reverse moves in the reverse order. So first thing I'm going to do is add y. Now here's where it also gets confusing. Normally we would have done this move, and then over here there would have been something to add together. But the fact that is we don't know what y is right now. So we just leave it 7 plus y. So notice how the equation didn't get any shorter. It's just getting rearranged, and that's the other thing to get used to in this work, is that a lot of times this is just, even though we're quote-unquote solving for something, that the equation itself is just getting rearranged and shifted around. All right, let's finish off. Times by 5, our job is to divide by 5. So I divide this side by 5. What I do to one side, I do it to the other. And so these cross out. And so I get x by itself. X equals, and again, notice how there's not a lot of math I can do here. It's pretty much stopped by the fact I don't know what y is. So I'm just going to leave it. 7 plus y divided by 5. Okay, and so this is the same equation. It's just been rearranged and solved for x. All right, in this last example, you may or may not be familiar with this formula, but I think the C and the F might be a clue. In this case, this is the conversion from Fahrenheit temperatures to Celsius. You plug in your Fahrenheit, do this math, you get Celsius. But what if I want to know Fahrenheit instead? What if I need this formula to work the other way? All right, so if we take a look here, our roadmap would look something like this. They took F, and of course in order of operations, parentheses comes first, which is they subtracted 32. And by the way, you might have noticed here I'm not doing distributive property. I'm choosing to leave it alone and just undo it with the parentheses intact, because I think with this distributing a fraction it's going to get more complicated, and I want to leave it as simplified as I can. So parentheses first, f minus 32. Then they took that answer and multiplied it by 5/9. All right, so let's pull our U-turn. Now, once again, we keep bringing this up, but I want you guys to get used to this as just one of the moves. Here they're multiplying by a fraction. Normally with multiplication we do division, but we've talked about this special scenario that it's the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So this side I'm going to multiply by 9/5. This side I'm going to multiply by 9/5. Now even though they're kind of separated here, I can't just cross these out. Those are opposites. They're going to eventually cross each other out. So I get 9/5 C equals F minus 32. And then instead of subtracting 32, I'm going to do the opposite, add 32. What I do to one side, I do it to the other. These cancel. So Fahrenheit is 9/5 of whatever Celsius is plus 32 degrees. All right, so that's a little bit about solving formulas and equations and using that knowledge to rearrange them. All right, good luck with this work.